This is Garum, and of course I am ignoring reality. Welcome to Game News Bites. Only good information, all duds removed. Xcom 2 Resurrection Story Summation Part 20. Alright guys, so where did we leave off last time? Well, the team is heading to as of yet undisclosed location with Lena and Lily, and Lily was a little bit pissed she didn't get to study the contagion a little bit closer. Alright guys, here we go. Lily came up to him later that day. "Thank you," she said. Amar looked at her, equal parts stunned and confused. "For what?" he asked. "You're right, I'm a little impatient. I don't like to have time on my hands. When I see a problem or a puzzle, I feel like I have to get right on it. All I can think of is solving it immediately. My dad says I'm like a rabbit, always dashing ahead. Last time I dashed ahead, things went really badly. So, again, thank you for making me take a step back." Amar nodded. "You're welcome. You'll probably have to stop me again, you know," she joked. "Oh, I know," he responded. 2 days later, they reached their destination. An old airfield deep in the countryside. The strip was cracked and overgrown, but the central tower still stood, along with several hangars. They hadn't seen any more signs of the contagion, if, of course, that is what they had seen. He checked his skin every few hours to see if anything appeared different, but never saw anything remotely sparkly. Now, he only checked once a day. In one of the overgrown hangars, they found what they came for. A thick, stubby, but powerful-looking aircraft. It had wings, albeit short ones, but by the looking at it, it relied more on jet propulsion for movement. I almost don't believe it. After all these years, once again, luck's on our side," Lily said. "Is that the Sky Ranger?" Nishimura asked with no small amount of awe in her voice. "Have you actually seen that before?" Lily asked. "No, not directly. My father carved me one out of wood when I was young. He worked on the original one, you know. Mostly the jet propulsion part, but," she responded. "Though, now it seems somehow different." "It's probably bigger," Amar whispered. "The original Sky Ranger was shot down in the war. This one is a prototype for the next model. Several were being built around the world, but this is the only one we know of to survive. It was never finished, and it's never been flown," Lily said. "So what is it then? Spare parts?" Dux asked. "No, we're gonna finish it. It can take off vertically, and it will fit nicely inside the Avenger. Right now, our response time to global events is tallied in weeks or even months. We can cut that down to hours. So, if none of you mind, I really want to get started on this," Lily said. Amar took the squad to set up a perimeter and a watch schedule. He then walked around the base hoping to find anything of value or use, but it had been looted long ago. Lena and Lily were working on the ship for little more than a week now, and that left the squad with very little to do. The majority were in a bit of a boredom-induced daze in the barracks underneath the command tower when Nishimura burst in. "Chief, there's something you need to see right now," she said. There was 4 of them, 2 boars, a dog, and a deer, all standing in a little cluster on the other side of the river, all covered in the same glassy patches as the crazed boars. None of them were doing much except bobbing their heads and facing in Amar's direction. "Do you think they followed us here?" Amar asked Nishimura. "Maybe. It does look like they came from that direction. Should I shoot 'em?" she asked. "No. Set up a tree stand and watch 'em. I want to know what they do." The next morning, the animals were still there, except one of the dogs was now on their side of the river. He wouldn't ask for advice from Lily, and she simply shrugged and said, "Well, burn 'em out. That's what the Advent does, don't they?" The one thing the hangar had was plenty of fuel, so he decided to make something akin to a Molotov cocktail. Returning to the others, he handed it off to the team grenadier, Ducks, who promptly lit it and tossed it onto the ground directly next to the dog. The can burst and the animal continued standing there, burning, until it finally collapsed into a fuming pile. This time, no one saw any of that sparkling fog. "Well, that worked," Duck said. Amar looked across the river and spotted something troubling. The crystals were not only on the animals, but the trees as well. That means it can infect the plants. The next few days passed easily. Animals crossed over the river and the team burned them. But the contagion was crossing as well. Amar looked down at the ground, and dandelions appeared to have something like frost on them. This infection spreads too fast. Something will eventually have to be done, something more permanent than this, Amar thought. 2 days later was the 2-week mark at the hangar, and Lily decided it was time to test the Sky Ranger. Amar found himself really excited as he watched everything light up and the small craft roll out of the hangar. It reminded him that humans were once resourceful, not just puppets. Lena and Lily had not just fixed the Sky Ranger, but they had improved on the original design. The rear had 2 engines on it like a jet, but the wings were really just struts now, supporting 2 massive engines that could rotate. He watched Lily test the hydraulics, as the jets pointed to the ground as if it was going to do a vertical liftoff. "There's only so much I can do here. So much more I want to do when we get back to the Avenger," Lily said. "Let's fuel her up, run the diagnostics again, and take her for a flight," she continued excitedly. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this one. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you want to jump to the next one, go ahead and click right there and I'll take you to it. And as always guys, thanks for watching.